Welcome to What You Missed When You Didn't Exist. I'm Corbett, and I'm 54.
And I'm Lucy, and I'm 25.
That's just a quarter century. What's that all about?
Quarter life crisis incoming.
And this time around, Lucy, we're going to talk about what you missed. And it's not Saturday Night Live.
It's not Saturday Night Live.
That's the best way to describe it. It is not Saturday Night Live. It is Sctv.
I think that's the same thing. Those are the same.
Well, actually, they're from the same roots. Sctv was a television show put together in Canada based around the concept of a skit show and the popularity of Saturday Night Live. I think it was partially produced by Lorne Michaels, who produced Saturday Night Live. 76 is when they started filming stuff for Sctv. Sctv was a group of sketch comedians. I mean, they're all incredibly well known now. At that time, nobody knew them. Just to sum up the cast, John Candy, Eugene Levy, Joe Flaherty, Catherine O'Hara, Dave Thomas, Andrea Martin Short, Rick Moranis, and the head writer, Harold Ramis, which you may not know Harold Ramis. In fact, most people don't know Harold Ramis, which is weird because they've all seen him. He's always been there. He was one of the friends of Saturday Night Live and the head writer for Second City Television, SCTV. You would probably know him as Egon from the Ghostbusters or the doctor from Groundhog Day, because he's also the writer in Groundhog Day.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All these actors came together. They were a comedy improv group I want to say they started in Chicago. Not all of them started in Canada, because I know John Candy went to Chicago. And the Second City Television group was essentially Chicago. Chicago is where all the improv people were coming from that became part of Saturday Night Live and SCTV.
So the Second City is Chicago. That's like...
Yeah.
Oh, instead of New York.
Yeah, that's the Chicago's always been the second city.
I didn't know that. Since when has that been a thing?
It's the Windy City?
It's the Windy City, not the Second City.
Chi-Town?
Chi-Town.
But the thing was, that was where people were going to get into improv. And improv is quite the challenge, I will say, if you've ever done it. It definitely gets your brain loose and kind of, you have to think outside the box and keep moving forward. And I will admit, it is highly addictive to anybody who loves hearing people laugh, because you just want to keep doing that. Of course, I don't know if you remember. Actually, do you know Rick Moranis? I mean, he's been in so much stuff, but he was doing stuff when I was alive and really hasn't been in stuff when you were alive. But I don't know if you ever watched like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or...
Yeah, you showed me Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and I saw Ghostbusters, and he was in... Okay. Oh, no, that was Ghostbusters. You showed me Spaceballs, but I didn't get it. I don't remember it very well.
It's a funny show. That's fine. Rick Moranis is probably one of the bigger names. I think he came out almost right away because he wound up doing a lot of Disney stuff, almost straight out of the gate. Catherine O'Hara came out not long after that and became wildly popular when Home Alone came out.
Yes.
She was the mom in Home Alone, and pretty much after that, she became the mom in Beetlejuice and the mom in everything. I think Catherine O'Hara was always known as that. John Candy, of course, the lovable big guy from Uncle Buck, which we've already talked about in the past, and just in a lot of stuff. I think Eugene Levy has gained popularity since like American Pie. It took him a while to kind of hit his stride, but he's always been pretty funny. Joe Flaherty, I think, is the one who kind of Joe Flaherty and Dave Thomas, I think, got undercut because I don't know if they went into writing or they just kind of dropped off. They didn't do a whole lot in the acting comedy game after that. And Andrea Martin, too. She was always pretty funny. Martin Short, of course, went on to be on Saturday Night Live and become Martin Short. He became much more popular after Rick Moranis. That's why I kind of start with Rick Moranis as the first start. Because he was the one who, like, literally, him and Dave Thomas did the McKenzie Brothers. Maybe I should talk about some of the skits first. So one of the most popular skits, number one skit that everybody who has ever seen SCTV pretty much knows, is The Great White North. The Great White North is two Canadian brothers, the McKenzie brothers, who basically have a show where they talk about beer.
Okay.
They did a version of the 12 Days of Christmas. They were so popular that there was a 12 Days of Christmas song where they were like, my true love gave to me a beer in a tree.
Oh my
And
word.
everything is some kind of beer. It's just so funny, but it's silly and it's of the time. They went on to do their own movie after that of the Mackenzie Brothers movie, which was Strange Brew. So if you
Okay.
ever get a chance, Strange Brew. But Dave Thomas kind of went off and did other stuff, and Rick Moranis went off and became, I guess, Disney's #1 go-to, because he seemed to be in everything, popping up as the weird guy and the quirky guy, and
Yeah, that's kind of his go-to, I feel like, from anything I remember him in.
Yeah, and Martin Short kind of followed suit by being in Three Amigos not too long after his stint on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
So it all tied together. But SCTV was a little different than Saturday Night Live. Everybody sees Saturday Night Live. It's the remnants of the comedy variety show from the 60s and even the 70s, where you'd have a host come out and talk about the show, and then they do a bunch of skits, which is Saturday Night Live the way it's still done now. They come out, the host is sort of in charge of the show, or at least the focus of the show, and the skits are all the troupe running stuff around them, and there's a musical guest. In SCTV, it was different. It was set up as this town called Mellonville that has a small television station called Channel 90. Channel 90's SCTV. It's run by Guy Caballero. This guy he always looks like he's on like Fantasy Island. I always thought that was kind of funny because he's dressed in all white all the time with this fedora. It's Joe Flaherty. If you said you watched a couple episodes, didn't you?
Yeah, I
you
did.
Never ran into Guy Caballero?
Well, I only watched a couple, so I watched 2 episodes with a couple of extra clips, and on YouTube they have the whole list of the first season, I think, except for the first episode. So I watched the second episode, which was funny. It was their make of Cowboy Kangaroo, but they called him Cowboy Combat. And it was so bad. Because like John Candy's the puppeteer and he gets killed because Captain Combat brings in the green fatigues guy, and they're learning and teaching the kids how to take apart a gun. I don't know what the name of the gun was called. It was like some German Schmeister or whatever.
Mauser?
Yeah, and so they're taking it apart and they shoot the gun and kill the puppeteer. And it turns into this whole murder mystery episode. And it's so random. And then the next episode after that was their ethnic humor episode, which did not age very well. And so it was just funny. But I was watching that second episode and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Captain Kangaroo. And it still seems just as weird when they're making fun of it. So I can't even imagine what watching Captain Kangaroo would be like regularly. But it was funny. I was enjoying it. It's just it has not aged as well. But I thought it was funny because watching Eugene Levy, he has the similar cadence a little bit, but his voice has certainly changed a lot as he's gotten older. So it was just funny. It was interesting.
No, I was just curious if you had seen any of the classic. There was a lot of classic clips that had to be repeated on a regular basis. Specifically, the Great White North is one of the I probably should have pointed those out to you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I figured I should start with the first couple of episodes. And I did the same thing with Sonny and Cher. I just watched their first couple of episodes.
Oh, okay. No, well, there's a lot out there. Is there any chance they had the Monster Chiller Theater in any of the episodes you were watching?
They did not. No.
See, that was actually one of my favorites. That was Joe Flaherty and Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy plays like the Igor character, and wait. No, Eugene Levy and John Candy play the characters in the movie. Yeah, and Eugene Levy plays the Igor character.
Interesting.
and Joe Flaherty plays the Count Floyd who hosts Monster Chiller Horror Theater, which is stupid.
Yeah.
That's the best I can describe it. It's so dumb. But it would always cut over to the evil doctor who's John Candy, and it's like it's in 3D, and they're like, I'm gonna have this hot dog, and they'd shove it in the screen.
Oh my
like, oh, that hot dog, it was coming right at me. It
wow.
was so terrible.
That's funny.
But there was a lot of return characters because the whole thing is based around, it's a television show that's being produced in Canada, Mellonville, and it has like its own little cast and crew of doing stuff. And they're all,
Yeah.
it's funny because they're all like certain celebrities show up and they're all played by the same cast over and over again, but they play different people. I think Johnny LaRue was one of my, I think it was John Candy's like car salesman guy who's always sort of the street tough person who's, I can't even describe so many silly things that were in it. But the whole difference in it was that in comparison, it did not have a regular guest host. There were guest hosts that would show up, but they weren't like, it's the host of the show and here it is. Like, no, it was always, here's SCTV being run by Guy Caballero and his team. And they would come on and say something about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And then would cut to one of their parody shows, like the Captain Combat. I think one of the ones that Conan O'Brien always talks about is one that John Candy did called Yellow Belly, which was a play on all the old Western movies. He's a notorious gunfighter of the Old West who's known for shooting people in the back.
Oh, my word.
He would go and save people, and then they'd walk away, and he'd shoot them in the back.
Oh, my word.
Sneak up on somebody and shoot them in the back. It's just terrible.
That's rough.
No, it's just funny bits.
No, they are funny. I kept seeing the episodes that I saw were Eugene Levy being Alex Trebek, and it was always like the dumb people on those
Celebrity
shows.
Jeopardy.
Yeah, or something. They're like, okay, what's the color of the sky? And everyone's like, the clouds. And you're like, oh my gosh. So I just thought it was funny because it was Eugene Levy kind of being Eugene Levy. And I never really got to see him play any other silly, goofy characters. But I saw John Candy being John Candy, and Catherine O'Hara was being silly, goofy, and like most everyone was being silly, goofy, but Eugene Levy always kept playing the straight guy, and I just thought it was such a bummer. It sucks to play the straight guy.
He played the straight guy a lot because he was always he was like the serious news reporter, the serious lawyer. He was always the straight man for everybody else's funny bit. So I give Eugene Levy his due that he took his hits. It's not so much that like, oh, he's not that funny. Like, no, he's really funny. But the thing is he's like, if you look at current Saturday Night Live,
yeah,
Keenan is really funny, but he's funny because he reacts to people. He plays the straight man, the us going, what? That sort of, because somebody does something crazy and his whole job is just to like, huh? That's Eugene Levy's role, is to sit there and act 100% stoic the whole time. And that's a trick. I'm sorry, but when somebody's being funny right in front of you, it is tough to keep a straight face.
That's true.
And stick with it. It's kind of the same thing with Keenan, where he's really funny, but his whole point is to react to things. And Eugene's is to not react to things. He would act like 100% serious about whatever he's doing. John Candy and Martin Short and Dave Thomas, they would always throw out these crazy bits. And Eugene would just sit there and, yes. But if you see, there's a few other times where he'll come in and play other characters too. So it's not like he only plays the straight man, but he plays it the best.
He does do it really well.
I think, Ed Grimley was another one that came out of Saturday Night Live, or not Saturday Night Live, SCTV, and then wound up on Saturday Night Live, and everybody thinks he wound up on Saturday Night Live to begin with. But Ed Grimley was a character created in SCTV, same as like Jackie Rogers Jr., which is a weird like lounge singer character that Martin Short came up with.
Did they pre-record it though, or was it live?
No, it was pre-recorded. Everything was kind of set up, low budgets. I think it started in Toronto and wound up, and then they moved to Edmonton in 1980. And that's when they were picked up by NBC. So they became like the secondary. You see, if you stayed up on Saturday night, you would usually watch Saturday Night Live and then watch SCTV right after, or sometimes there was a show in between. I think it was Saturday night videos would be on, and then SCTV would come out. SCTV was always just in the middle of the night. Not late, but like so late that it was almost forgotten. But it was always funny.
So it wasn't even in Chicago.
No. Second City starts with Chicago. Chicago is the breeding ground where all these comedy troupes were coming together. Kind of like everybody's like, oh, the Groundlings. You got to be in the Groundlings. The Groundlings out in LA now.
Yeah.
They're the same kind of Second City. Second City was the breeding ground for the improv comedy people that are willing to do whatever it takes to be funny.
Oh, gotcha.
that the Whose Line Is It Anyway crowd.
Yeah.
Those were started in the 70s. Like, we're going to make this up right here in front of you. And the funny thing is that I will admit, improv comedy really promotes, you have to be funny first.
Yes.
But second, you have to be smart.
And creative.
Yeah, you have to do it like on the fly.
Yeah.
This is why a lot of comedians get into serious stuff later, because they're usually pretty smart people that are able to adapt and overcome quickly, which is a Marine saying, but
Jeez Louise.
no, it's true. You have to adapt and you have to overcome. You're given an insane idea and you go with it.
Wow.
So SCTV it doesn't feel like the improv comedy that Saturday Night Live is. I can say that for sure. And you can see Saturday Night Live now. So there's really not been a lot of changes to Saturday Night Live over the years. If you look at old Saturday Night Live, the skits aren't as refined as they are now.
Yeah.
But they're pretty much the same. Here's some wackadoo thing. I go back and watch some of the old SNL skits. They lose a lot of clarity, and they don't have a solid ending to the skit. It's just kind of, hey, have a funny idea. And then after those two lines, then what? I don't know. We'll make it up as we go along. And sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's not. And it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones, but the stuff nowadays, they have so much production and stuff going into it. Like, they'll make whole props. Oh, I was looking at one of the recent ones where they talk about the new toy line for the most exciting movie out, and they imply that it's going to be Wicked, but it's actually like He Who Kills or something. I don't know. It's some super dramatic, adult show, and it's drug dealing, this, that, and the other, and they're all they've made all these dolls to hold up and the kids to run around and say lines from it.
Oh, wow.
Terrible.
That's crazy.
It was on one of the shows recently. It was just funny. You don't see that nearly the same level in the old days. They didn't have that same kind of money to just hey, make a bunch of toys for us.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just different, but they're willing to make silly stories and bits and throw them around. The thing is with SCTV is there was a lot more planning involved. There wasn't live. It wasn't improvised. They would still come up with some crazy crackers ideas. The Captain Combat. Yeah, that's a great example.
It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad they have those available on Internet Archive. So if anybody's out there and I want to watch some of this old SCTV stuff, it's out there. And it's totally fun and funny. I'm not going to shirk that at all. There's obviously going to be dated stuff because you know what? It is.
Yes.
That's how time works. Yes. I'm sure in 20 or 30 years, you'll be doing the show with your child and be like, oh, and we were doing it this way.
Yes.
Now it all goes through the brain chip, so it's faster.
Oh my gosh, the brain chip. Oh,
it's coming.
Ooh.
That's the future for you. What are you going to do? Ride your rocket pack to work? I doubt it.
Hey, that was supposed to have already happened. We passed that time.
Yeah, I know. It's so disappointing.
How's the future now, dude?
That's a good question.
That I'm supposed to answer.
How? Yeah, usually. That's a good question. How is SCTV now? Well, I know recently, and I can ruin this for you. Catherine O'Hara passed away just recently.
Very sad.
So I'm sorry for anybody who did not know that. Catherine O'Hara was always fun to watch. I think anybody who's seen a lot of movies in the last 20 years or 30 years has seen her as some form of a mother figure, even good or bad. I think she was in Schitt's Creek with Eugene Levy.
She was. As Moira Rose.
Which she was hilarious in that.
She was. I found out she had to combine multiple accents for it. And she always critiques people because people try to mock the accent that she had. And she's like, no, don't stick with one accent. You need to switch between different accents. And then it's perfect. And again,
that
Eugene Levy plays the straight man.
Right. He's the one who's like, what? Every time you turn around. And that's and he's still funny as ever. Actually, I don't know if you ever watched his travel show?
No.
I would recommend it. It's kind of funny. It's a short, I think they only did one season. Eugene Levy gets lost, or Eugene Levy, I don't know. Basically, it's him because he's an uptight person. It's him being uptight, and people are like, oh, we should jump into the raging or running of the bulls. Like, no, I'm good. I'm really good. I'm really good. We don't need to do any of that. Oh no, we should jump in the ice and detoxify. No, I'm good. I'm really, really good. I don't want to do that at all.
Wow.
It's
That's
very much
awesome.
a one-man show, but Eugene Levy is pretty funny. He is a really funny guy. And of course, we've talked about John Candy. He passed away quite a while back. He was one of the first ones to go, I think.
Yes. Rick Moranis is supposed to be in the new upcoming Spaceballs movie, apparently.
Yep, Spaceballs too. They're supposed to be putting it out, which is funny because that came around because Josh Gad showed his daughter Spaceballs.
Yes.
And in the end of Spaceballs, like, and in Spaceballs 2 coming, this'll happen. And of course, none of that happened because it was a joke.
Yep.
And his daughter turned to Josh Gad and said, well, where's Spaceballs 2? I want to watch it. Like he was hiding it.
Yep. As one does. How many people are alive now, Dad?
Most of the cast of Sctv is still around. They're all older. No mistake there. I think actually Maureen O'Hara, she died. When she was 71 when she passed away this year, and Joe Flaherty was 10 years older than her, and he died like 2 years ago.
Wow,
that's surprising.
I don't know.
I kind of presume they were all in the same age range. Joe Flaherty is a much older guy. Well, okay, older by he was probably in his 30s when they were in their 20s.
Oh, so old.
It goes by quick.
Old. I don't know. People still do improv stuff, though. There's a lot of skit comedy. We watch it. I watch it on YouTube a lot. I watch Smosh. They have improv stuff. And Saturday Night Live is still a thing.
Yeah.
So improv exists. Comedy exists. People need a laugh.
That's Canadian humor, too. I think there was a certain weird mix of Canadian and British humor that started bleeding into America in the 70s.
Yeah.
And leading into the 80s that I appreciate. Well, okay, British humor is totally dry. 100% is dry humor that you have to go, oh, what? They mean something else than what they're saying? That's very confusing.
Yes.
I was so used to just wet, sloppy, pie in the face humor that I had to kind of get used to the British humor. And then Canadian humor is like a weird mix of whatever they feel like doing. They really kind of go whole hog. I think in World War II, Canadians were the scariest force to fight. The Germans acknowledge this.
Because they were so wild and unpredictable?
Everybody was there to fight. But Americans, they knew to be afraid of because they had armor. They would produce as much armor as possible, send out tanks and weapons and whatever.
Yeah.
Because we were the industrial might. The British were regimented and determined and they had, sort of a staunch determination about them. So they had a fear of that. But Canadians, they just straight up feared because they were there to kill the crap out of whatever was in front of them.
Interesting.
They didn't hold back. They were tooth and nail fighting people. And it was, but the thing is, it's kind of the same way the comedy comes across. The British comedy is restrained and it's regimented and formulated. And, the Americans just pump out, comedy after comedy after comedy, and you'll like something eventually.
Yeah.
Sort of flinging poo on the wall. Whereas Canadians Ryan Reynolds is Canadian.
That's true.
He's pretty funny, but way out of norms.
That's true.
Way out there. And it's I would say the Canadians and the Australians are very similar that way. I've watched a couple Australian comedy bits, and they have a very, if I can say it in a different way, upside down humor where it's just funny and I feel like I'm being insulted, but it's funny.
Yeah, that's true. They are funnier. The Canadians are funnier.
They nicer. Yeah. That's the funny thing too. They're the most noted polite people in the world. They'll bomb you to death and then sorry.
Terrible. Oh, so terrible.
Canadian humor, I think, is pretty strong in Sctv and in Kids in the Hall, if you ever get a chance. Kids in the Hall is pretty funny. A little more contemporary. It happened in the 90s, whereas Sctv is more 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
But, Kids in the Hall, you're familiar with Well, Kevin McDonald, he's the masseuse who pulls off Ross's Kuntis.
Oh, yes.
With his watch.
Yes.
He's the quirky guy.
I don't know if I really remember him. I didn't watch Kids in the Hall. I'm too young for that. That's before
Dave Foley. Time. Well, that'll be one of those shows we follow up with, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm glad you got to watch it. I hope you watch more. I hope other people watch more. It's a funny show. It's on
the Internet Archive and YouTube. You can catch some seasons and full episodes on YouTube. They're about like 20 minutes long. It's pretty funny.
I think later on they made full hour-long episodes, but I don't remember if it was just a combination of the 2 30-minute episodes or what.
I don't know.
But Harold Ramis at the top of his game before he started going into movies and doing Ghostbusters, Blues Brothers, all those shows. Some of the top actors and comedians of the time, Canadian. Okay, I feel like I'm coming back like a backhanded comment with that. They're Canadian actors, so they're not the full actor. Like, well, she's pretty good for a woman, that sort of thing. I'm just like, well, they are Canadian actors, and I feel it's important to point out they can do stuff. And honestly, there's a lot of Canadian movie production companies now because it's cheaper to produce in Canada.
Which is
and
wild.
Easier because there's less people to deal with.
That's crazy.
It makes sense. It'll probably be the next Hollywood, I would guess. Well,
really?
there are India. India's pumping out movies like crazy.
Wild. Wild stuff. Catch a laugh. Do some improv. Live a little.
Okay, for what you missed when you didn't exist, that was a show?
That was a show! And live from New York, it's Saturday night!
Oh, now you're being weird.
What do you mean?